43 hard-hitting facts about Floyd Mayweather Jr. you never know before. 43. The origin story. On February 24, 1977, Floyd Mayweather was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan. 42. The boxer bloodline. Floyd's father and two of his uncles were all boxers. His uncle Roger won the world featherweight title several times in the 1980s and early 90s. 41. One tough baby. When Floyd Mayweather was a tiny one-year-old baby, his father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., was involved in selling drugs. He got into a fight with one of the other dealers, so the other dealer showed up to the house and pointed a gun at Floyd Sr.'s head. He picked up baby Floyd Jr. and used him as a shield to keep from getting shot. 40. Daddy issues. In 1993, Floyd's father was arrested for possession and trafficking cocaine. His mother had addiction issues too, so his family life was not exactly easy. 39. Jersey strong. While his mother was trying to raise him on her own, they moved to New Jersey for a period of time in his childhood. He described 7 people crammed into a one-bedroom apartment. There were times when no one had money for the electric bill, and those 7 people would have to live without it, until they could pay to get the lights back on. 38. To hell and back. Floyd's aunt died from AIDS, which she caught from sharing heroin needles. When he would come home from school, there were used needles scattered across the front lawn. 37. Counting dollars instead of sheep. Even as a small child, Floyd Mayweather was dreaming of dollar signs. I would lie in bed, and I was 9 years old, and say to myself, I want to be the richest man in the world. I've come a long way from there. 36. Starting young. When he was only 10 years old, Floyd's dad took him out for dinner to eat steak to help him get some protein to prepare for a junior boxing tournament. When he won, he was so happy about it, he slept hugging his trophy for 2 weeks straight. 35. The big leagues. Floyd had been boxing his entire life. At 22 years old, he finally started fighting professionally. Right away, he won 15 out of 16 of his matches. 34. Do what you love. When accused of only boxing for the money, Floyd Mayweather responded, I think I already proved that I wasn't just fighting for the money, because I fought as an amateur. I fought 90 fights for free. 33. The only option. While in jail, Floyd Sr.'s brothers would let him know when Floyd Jr. was out partying all the time and skipping boxing practice. He responded with phone calls directly from jail, telling his son that if he doesn't take boxing seriously, there may not be any other option for his future besides selling drugs. Determined not to end up like his father, Floyd Jr. clearly took that advice to heart. 32. Not the face. In his younger years, his fellow boxers always called him Pretty Boy, because his face has very few scars or damage from receiving blows to the face. The only reason why he could avoid multiple broken noses is because his dad taught him defensive techniques. 31. Turning over a new leaf. When his father got out of prison, he decided to leave his life of crime behind and began coaching Floyd in boxing. He was both his manager and trainer. 30. Never mix family with business. In the year 2000, family drama became too much for Floyd to bear. He fired his dad as his manager, but kept him on as his boxing trainer. Even then, they argued too much to work well together. So they had to go their separate ways. Floyd hired his uncle Roger to train him instead. 29. Forgive and forget. In 2013, Floyd's uncle Roger's eyesight started to go bad, which made it impossible to be his coach anymore. Floyd and his father had long since gotten over the bad blood between them from years before, so they began training together again in 2013. He was quoted saying that he wants his children to have a relationship with their grandfather, and it was important to him that they could try to repair the family. 28. Inspiration. Floyd Mayweather is friends with Mike Tyson. They used to train together at the same gym. Mayweather credits Tyson for being his motivation to succeed, because he would drive up in a Rolls-Royce and wear diamond watches. After seeing how wealthy a boxer can become, it only pushed Mayweather to work harder. 27. Bad temper. Floyd doesn't always keep his fights inside of the ring. In 2002, he was arrested for violence more than once. 5 of those arrests involved violence against women. When asked about his reputation, he responded, "You've got to have a villain and they'll always make me a villain. I'm used to it, it makes me work harder and it makes me fight harder." 26. The excuse in an interview with Katie Couric, Floyd Mayweather defended himself against the claims that he beats women. He claimed that he was restraining Josie Harris because she was high on drugs and acting out violently herself. 25. Focused despite the fact that he has pleaded guilty to violence and abuse, he claims not to bring any anger into the ring, because it would cloud his judgment. If you fight angry, you make a lot of mistakes, and when you fight a sharp, witty fighter like me, you can't make mistakes. 24. Team USA. He won an Olympic bronze medal in boxing in 1996. He was part of the featherweight division after losing in the semi-finals. He never lost again. 23. The classics. Floyd Mayweather likes listening to old-school rappers like Biggie Smalls and Tupac. 22. Daddy. He has a total of 4 kids, from 2 different ex-girlfriends. His sons are named Coron and Zion. He also has 2 daughters named Jira and Ayana. Melissa Brim is the mother of Ayana, while Josie Harris is the mother of the other 3 kids. He loves to spoil his kids, giving them lavish Sweet 16 parties and buying them $400,000 cars when they first learn how to drive. 21. Fighting is fighting. In 2008, Floyd Mayweather fought in the WWE against The Big Show. Despite a slight size difference, Floyd was victorious. This is especially impressive considering real things can get inside the WWE ring. 20. Ready for anything. He claims to never watch videos of the men he is going to fight. He doesn't want to have any expectation of what's coming while he's training. 19. Paso Doble. Dancing with the Stars asked him to see how light he was on his feet outside the ring, back in 2009. He did the 2-step, but wasn't winning any serious dance competitions. 18. Money talks. In 2010, he made $60 million. This made him the 3rd highest paid athlete in the United States. As time went on, the amount of money he earns per fight went up. In 2015, he made $150 million for a single fight. 17. Bling. He has a reputation for spending his money on extravagant purchases and showing off his wealth on a regular basis. This seems to be a way to leave his past behind. He was quoted saying, "When people see what I have now, they have no idea of where I came from and how I didn't have anything growing up." 16. Behind bars. Josie Harris is the mother of 3 of his children. During a fight, he pulled her hair and twisted her arms, and punched her. 2 of their children witnessed the abuse. He spent 90 days in prison in 2011 after pleading guilty to harassment and domestic abuse charges. 15. Second chances. After all of the issues with Josie, he became engaged to an actress named Chantel Jackson. He proposed to her via text message, along with a proposal to help her get acting contracts, in exchange for her to say yes. Their engagement was broken off, and court documents later revealed that Floyd held her at gunpoint, choked her, threatened to expose steamy naked photos of her in bed and told her, "You're not ***** without me." 14. Eligible Bachelor. Floyd Mayweather has never been married. In 2016, he was rumored to be dating a woman who he met because she was his personal masseuse. It seems as though he is simply enjoying the single life, and the perks that come along with that. 13. I'll head out first. Floyd Mayweather has multiple security guards, and they are all huge guys who could take just about anybody down. Rumor has it that Mayweather asks them to fly on a different plane than him, because he is afraid of heights. He thinks all that extra weight might bring the plane down. 12. Dollar bill. His net worth is estimated to be around $610 million. He holds $125 million in his checking account for purchases. 11. The gambler. He likes to watch other sporting events, and bet big bucks on the outcome. On Instagram, he bragged about winning $850,000 in a single weekend after starting out with $350,000 spread across multiple games, and they all won. 10. Boxes, or briefs. Apparently, Mayweather throws out his underwear after wearing them once, instead of washing them. He apparently spends $6,500 a year on buying new underwear. 9. Boxing with Biebs. Floyd Mayweather is Justin Bieber's boxing coach. Bieber is often seen hanging around with the rest of Mayweather's entourage, and always has ringside seats during his fights. 8. Self-care. He reportedly spends 2 hours in the morning shaving his entire body and generally taking really good care of himself. He regularly gets manicures, pedicures, and massages. 7. What time is it? Mayweather has flashy taste and owns a collection of diamond-encrusted watches. He also has a lot of gold chains with diamonds. 6. Vroom vroom. He has a huge collection of luxury cars on his property, which he loves to show off to reporters and on Instagram. 5. Filthy rich. Mayweather is not afraid to show off his money every chance he gets. His Instagram account is filled with photos showing off his wealth, like sitting in a private jet with stacks of $100 bills on the table in front of him. 4. Just because. Mayweather has received plenty of prizes for his fights. Spike TV gave him the Best Ever award in 2015. 3. Planning ahead. Floyd Mayweather said that he decided to retire from boxing while he was still young and physically fit enough to where he wouldn't end up getting so injured that he was forced to quit. On April 16, 2016, he announced his retirement on Twitter. "I have decided to retire young. Thanks for the cheese. Catch yars later." 2. The Challenger. In 2017, he was quoted saying, "I'm coming out of retirement just to fight Conor McGregor." McGregor is a UFC fighter, so he is not a traditional boxer. They both made roughly $100 million for the fight. No one can know for sure what Mayweather's motivation was, since he already has plenty of money. Maybe it was the challenge of fighting someone from a different discipline. 1 last time. Floyd Mayweather defeated Conor McGregor on August 26, 2017 in the 10th round by TKO. Immediately after, he went back into retirement.